Since we have just understood these layers of files, let's look at a very important file in these layers called BC, also known as the requirements for business continuity. The requirements for business continuity have a plan called BCP. I believe many of you have implemented BCP in your companies. It is called the Business Continuity Plan, which is more commonly referred to in foreign companies. In our domestic industries or enterprises, it may be renamed, such as an emergency plan or an emergency response plan. It may have been renamed. This is to ensure the continuous and effective operation of our business. Let's take a closer look at this plan. Before making this plan, it is clear that this plan is usually made by the IT department or the security department. If you have studied project management, you will know that if I want to make a plan or a standard and I want it to be effectively implemented, the first thing we must do is to gain the support of the leadership. This is called the project charter. That is, we must get authorization. This is often tested in exams. That is, if I want to make a business continuity plan or want to make a project that is safe to implement, then I must first get the authorization of the top management. Generally, for high-level authorization, you may think of a mixed document in state-owned enterprises and central enterprises, which we call a charter. In listed companies, it may be an appointment letter. After careful consideration by the top management, we authorize who a certain department, Xiao Kui, as the leader of a certain project, because only in this way, what is the key? Yes, the key to getting authorization, you can see this place. Only when I get the authorization can I command the princess with the mandate of the emperor and I can mobilize resources. Otherwise, as we mentioned earlier, security is a common responsibility of the entire company or organization. I have to let others support me or participate in this security project. If I don't have the authorization of the top management, then my ability to mobilize resources will be very poor. Of course, relying on personal charm is also okay, but if it is from top to bottom, we will save a lot of effort, so everyone understands. So before I do something, I basically communicate fully with the leader first, and it is easier to promote this matter with the trust and authorization of the leader. Safety itself is a top priority project. We have talked about this before. It is a top priority project. We can understand that getting authorization is a prerequisite for BCP. So you can understand it as the first step of BCP. It can also be understood as a prerequisite for this business contact plan. It's obvious. So when I get authorization, I must have a formal signature from the leader, right? Because when the leader signs, it also represents the senior management's contact with the business. He is responsible. Of course, we have repeatedly emphasized this responsibility before. It is the ultimate responsibility. It's like my security department is an execution or maintenance responsibility. And my top management is the ultimate responsibility. So why do you need the top management to sign? Then on the contrary, right? It's everyone's responsibility. It is a community of responsibility also reflected here. Well then, after having this authorization document, we start to do BCP, right? To make a business continuity plan. The first thing in the business continuity plan, please pay attention to this when taking the exam. It is a very important consideration. When I am doing BCP, the first thing I need to do is what? What is BIA? It's called Business Impact Analysis. Business Impact Analysis, in fact, there are two main tasks. That is, the entire BIA is two main tasks. The first task, I have to determine the criticality of the business first. That's what we call priority, because the entire information system and our business environment, it matches. It may be complicated. Our company may have many departments. There are many business systems. From the perspective of IT security protection, I can't protect all business systems, all servers, all details. I protect them all. Every network cable, every terminal, I protect them all. This is too difficult. Because the cost is too high, you can think of it this way. How many people are there in our IT department? How many people are there in the whole company? I don't believe that the IT department can support the business department one by one. Then you are an IT company itself. That's not realistic. So, obviously, that is, I need to clarify what my core business is. Then I only need the main experience of IT, or my security department mainly protects this key or highest priority part. As long as the core business can continue, it's okay. There is a problem here. What if it breaks? We just mentioned you can't guarantee that it will always be unbroken because there are devices, software, and hardware. This is complicated. So what is the so-called uninterrupted is within my acceptable time range. I can recover him. It's okay. For example, I think it can be restored within an hour. It can be considered that his business is guaranteed. Or we say within a minute. If the entire business can be restored to the previous state, then it's okay. So the essence of business continuity is not that the business is uninterrupted. It is within the acceptable range we talked about before. He can restore the business, then it's okay. So here, after clarifying the priority value, we need to clarify the longest downtime of the corresponding level or priority order business system. It's obvious. Then different priorities. Their maximum downtime is different. Then let's take a closer look. We just mentioned it. First of all, clarify a priority. So this process, it's called BIA. It's called Business Impact Analysis. Business Impact Analysis, Business Impact Analysis, and this Business Impact Analysis. The first thing in Business Impact Analysis. Everyone, please pay attention. It is very important to collect information. What is this so-called information collection? You can understand it as a list of assets. We can use an information-based method, or we can use the traditional Excel, this kind of relational database. We gather all the equipment business systems, including software and hardware together. That is what we mean. You need to know what's in your house. So, information collection is essentially organizing an asset list. Of course, after this asset list is organized, we should understand which businesses we have, which servers we have, which business systems we have, which new systems we have, and then everyone pay attention. This is what we mentioned earlier. We need to sort this list. Sort, because it's clear. First, I need to know what I have. But all my assets or all my new systems, we can't possibly protect them all, or can we? That is, recover all at the first time. That's too difficult. So we must prioritize them. We need to be clear about which is high and which is low. So the core business is obviously of higher value or more important for the overall development of the company for a manufacturing company, right? The recovery of your production lines IT system, right? Including your R&D, right? For a company, your R&D center, right? It should be the first to recover for a sales company. Then my sales system, including my, right? CRM or ERP should be the first to recover. So the logic is different. After clarifying what information assets I have, and after sorting them, then as we mentioned earlier, we need to analyze the information. What are we analyzing in the information? Clearly, we analyze the information to determine the loss and impact during the interruption time. That is, once a certain business, no matter if it's high, medium, or low level, once the business corresponding to this level stops, or we say it's interrupted, what is the impact it causes? What is the loss? Some students said, once your information system, right? It must be a higher priority information system. Once it stops, the loss is greater. This has a certain positive correlation, but it's not necessarily true because some systems are like this. It is not a core business itself, but it might be a prerequisite. That is, if this business system doesn't start, then the more important business might not recover. So its priority may not be the highest, but the loss or impact is great. What's another situation? Although the financial loss is not high, but the damage to the reputation is high. That is, once it stops. For the public, the impact is great. For example, some landmark buildings in our city. You say it's out of power. How much loss does it cause? Maybe not, right? Surely the power plant is more important, but it's very important for people's psychology. You say looking at a light all year round, right? A lighthouse is out. That might not feel good to people, so it needs to be analyzed. What's the purpose of the analysis? This is very important. Actually, the essence of information analysis is to determine different businesses. We mentioned earlier, right? Your priority, your business system has priorities, but different priority business systems. What is the maximum interruption time they can tolerate? We call it MTD, right? Look at this place. What's the maximum acceptable downtime? Generally speaking, for key businesses, it might need to recover within a few minutes, right? If it's more important, it might be a few hours. If it's a bit more important, it might be a few days. If it's not important, maybe, right? It's okay to recover within a month, so its recovery has a chance. Actually, it's related to the value of your information assets and also related to industry requirements. This is related to the industry. I was in a certain medical industry. Let's not say which hospital it was. Their requirements are really high. They require business recovery within 1 minute. You can imagine. If it's 1 minute, let's not talk about the information system. For example, like the power system. My light might be out. I must recover within 1 minute. Otherwise, there might be an accident on my operating table. So, different industries have different requirements. Some students asked, how is MTD derived? Actually, for each industry, they will have some industry standards and requirements, that is, equivalent to laws and regulations or industry standards. They require me for this scale, right? For example, how long can a tertiary hospital stop? For example, a provincial level operator. What is your maximum downtime, including IDC, right? For example, you are a provincial level IDC, right? Or you are a national level IDC. Can you interrupt? They all have corresponding requirements. So, MTD can be said to be a requirement. This is a requirement. It is a requirement obtained through law or industry standards. It is mandatory. This is a term. Another term is RTO. What is RTO? It's called recovery time objective. Your MDD requirement might be 1 minute, right? Or 1 hour, right? Let's say this. Say 1 hour. Then the time to recover this new system is RTO in principle. Clearly, RTO should be less than MTD. That is the time to recover the new system. It should be less than your maximum downtime. Then some students say, can I be equal to it? That is the time I take to restore the new system. Can I be equal to this maximum downtime? Please note that this is not possible. Why, we will talk about it in the future. Actually, there is a formula here, which is RTO plus, a term called WRT. It equals MTD. The logic is like this. That is the time I take to restore the information system. Please note that there is also a term called recovery work time, after your information system is restored. Then my business personnel. I need to log in. I need to find the order I processed last time. I may need to verify the status of this business. Where was I last time? Which link was I working on? It will form a situation where after you restore the new system, you also need to add the time required for recovery work. It is less than my maximum downtime, not equal to the maximum downtime. That is, I have to give people enough time. Only then can I meet this maximum downtime. So RTO must be less than MTD. Then There will be another question. How is this RTO obtained? Please note that it is obvious to restore a new system's business. It has something to do with equipment and technology. Let me give you another example. For example, like this router, there is a REP protocol in the routing protocol. The IRP protocol is called routing information. This routing information protocol is called routing message protocol. Its routing convergence is about 180 seconds. At least its update also needs 30 seconds. Like OSPF called the shortest. The shortest is the open shortest path protocol. Then the open shortest path protocol. Generally OSPF within a region. Its recovery time may be within 10 seconds. Obviously, it is several times faster than it, if the requirements are higher. It may be using the EIGRP protocol. Of course, the example I gave may not be suitable for our students. The EIGRP protocol is called the Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. Generally within an AES, that is our so-called autonomous system, its recovery may be less than 1 second. I just give an approximate value. Then you will find out. What you will find that if I choose different routing protocols, the RTO I get is different. But on the other hand, we will also come to a conclusion. Your router that supports IP is very cheap. The home router is just okay. A router that supports OSPF may be more expensive. That is some mainstream routers. If it supports EIGRP, it may be some dedicated devices. For example, like Cisco's devices, I'm not advertising for Cisco, but Cisco, as the creator of this first router, the founder or creator we talk about, some of his technologies, he has some of his own technologies and patents in it. We may have to pay a huge cost. So, if you want to pursue RTO, you definitely have to pay the corresponding cost. Technically from the equipment, from the personnel. So RTO is calculated. Then we come to a conclusion. That is, RTO is not the smaller, the better. As long as you are less than MTD, it's fine because of your business system. You say, I recover in 1 day. I don't have to insist that I have to get it done in a few seconds. It's okay to get it done within a day. Then I won't spend much money. You say, I must get it done in a few seconds. How much money do you have to spend? Then it's business system security, reliability, and its backup processing. That is quite complicated. So everyone understands this RTO should be less than MTD, and MTD depends on your industry or scale requirements. In addition to RTO, there is another one for the recovery requirements of the business system called RPO. RPO is called Recovery Point Objective. What is the recovery point objective? For example, an application or a business system. In order to restore to a certain point in time, because when your event occurs or when your disaster occurs, obviously that business is interrupted. Then I may have experienced RTO for 2 hours. Then I recover. I restore this new system. Then I have to restore to the previous one. That is, a normal business processing time point before my disaster occurred. Obviously, what does this RPO need? Need backup. I need data backup before your business stops. I made a backup at some point in time. Just like playing a game. I walked to a certain progress in the game. I have a save point, then I made a save. Even if I died fighting monsters later in the game, or for some reason, this data is lost, but I can go back to the last save point. I can start over. If I didn't save, it may be necessary to start playing from the very beginning of the game. The cost of the game is too high. So obviously the frequency and interval of backup. What does it determine? It determines the RPU. That is, what is the point where I can return to the normal working state before the disaster. Then, this also needs cost input, because the higher the frequency of your backup means the more frequent the backup. my backup mechanism. Then can I get a protection? So one is RTO, one is RPO. We need to understand. One is the time required to restore the new system. One is the time state under the normal state of this new system that I can restore. This is RPO. We need to invest a lot of equipment and technology. We can meet the requirements of RTO and RPO. So speaking of this, obviously that is through our understanding of BIA and our business system, different business levels and different priorities. The MTD we benchmark is different. Then the benchmarked MTD is different. That target MTD is different. Then we infer the opposite, right? Or this will force our RTO RPO to be different. Then our RTO RPO is different. Then the technology we adopt and the equipment we use. Its cost, its technical advantages will also be different. So speaking of this, we will find that IT investment is actually related to the industry and scale, not technology and advancement. Technology and advancement are only to meet RTO, RPO. We can't say that because the technology is good. And then I use this manufacturer's equipment. The logic is wrong. It's because of business needs. We will use this technology and equipment to meet the requirements of RTO and RPO. So have we grasped and understood this concept? This is a key point in the exam.